saying that cop killed her son. Think that's really what happened?
I ain't shooting my way out of problems no more. I'm out the game.
Box done. You believe her? I think the question is whether she believes herself.
You want to make some money? Always hiring.
We need the money, man. I ain't trying to go back to my mother's. Everybody got their hustles.
50 Cent grew up in South Jamaica, Queens, where at the time, Southside and the city as a whole was full of drugs. Him and Sasha Penn, who's a showrunner for Raising Kanan, would have no doubt sat down and drawn from all of his experiences, his relationships that he had with his family, friends, and business associates. We can all see how well written Raising Kanan is and how they've taken their time to home in on the 90s era, what it was like on the streets, how we had to survive, but adding that power spin to it because at the end of the day, it is a TV show. Now having said that, it is time for Kanan to become his own man and start his own hustle. He still may be young, but like Unique said in season 1, he was in this shit before he was even in this shit, and when he pulled that trigger, he was in it. Raq is still determined to leave the game, but Unique puts a different perspective on Raq's new ways. But as always, we're going to be running through all the clues from the trailer for episode 2. We're also going to be taking a look at the images released prior to the season that matches up with episode 2, along with some interview quotes from Patina Miller around her relationship with Kanan, for all things Raising Kanan season 2, episode 2. Now the title for episode 2 is Flipmode, and the synopsis reads, Raq continues her farewell tour with one last job for the Mafia. Kanan will be diving deeper into the streets with a creative idea. Howard faces a new threat at the precinct. Now despite Kanan saying she's done with Raq in episode 1, she is going to try and mend that relationship, because like she said across seasons 1 and 2, Kanan is everything.
I told you that there was nothing more important to me than my son. That nobody was ever gonna get between us. I'll make that shit as clear as day.
Kanan definitely means the world to her. She has a very funny way of showing it, but she definitely wants what's best for him. And even though I don't agree with some of her methods, how she could have approached certain situations a whole lot differently, at the end of the day, she does love Kanan. So with that being said, this is what Patina Miller had to say on their relationship. The secrets affect them all separately and together, so they have to work as a family while dealing with their issues. She knows that she doesn't have Kanan anymore, but she's still trying to parent him. She's the big boss, but making sure her son is connected to her is always her biggest goal. Kanan is a man now, and so this season she's terrified because she's actually lonely for the first time. So that's a recent interview that Patina Miller gave around where Raq is at this moment in time with her relationship with Kanan, how she's scared, and how she feels lonely, which is one of the reasons why I think she's actually more accepting of Unique. Unique provides her with a sense of comfort at a time where she doesn't really have a lot of people that she can trust, but I'm going to get to that relationship in a bit more detail later on. Now with Raq and Kanan, we've got Kanan driving in a car, questioning whether what they're saying happened to Berg is the truth, and this is a huge test for Raq. When they were in the Catskills, she took him away to spend some time together, bond, get away from the chaos from New York, and Raq said no more secrets between them, but we all know what she's like, and Kanan was learning about what she was like as well. So I feel like this is Kanan testing his mother to see if she's really changed. Let's also not forget when Kanan learned about what happened to Scrappy, he didn't believe it either, especially when Scrap's mother rolled up on him and so he questioned Raq, but she lied and continued to lie. And I've said it before, I do feel had Raq just been honest in some situations, not all, because she does have to protect him as a parent, but if she was honest with him, I do feel Kanan would have respected his mother a lot more, and maybe understood why she's done some of the things she has done. Unfortunately, I think it's way too late. There is no way they can repair this relationship, not at this moment in time anyway, and it is largely due to the fact we are going to continue to see Kanan on his own. Like Patina Miller said, Kanan is now a man and is also now on his own hustle. Now just before we get to Kanan being on his own hustle, I do think Berg's death will go down as a suicide, because that's how Howard made it look. There's a reason why Raq took the shot on the side when it came to Scrap. She also did the same when she made a threat to Palomar, and the same goes for Howard and Berg. But Howard will apparently face a new threat at the precinct, and we've already seen them giving a brief hint that law enforcement are going to have a heavy presence this season. The FBI are in their crosshairs, and he probably won't have much control over their cases. Let's also not forget Ralph Sacristano messed up pretty bad when he manufactured evidence which has seen 10 over 10 convictions so far. So that's another point when it comes to law enforcement. They're buried deep in this shit with what happened with the Italian Mafia in Queens and Ralph Sacristano. So let's see how Howard navigates this situation at the precinct. Now Raq can say she's out the game all she wants, but just like Howard, she's gonna have to navigate murky waters on the other side of the street game. While she's with Unique, they will be interrupted by armed men with masks, which they've made no secret of being sent by Stefano Marchetti. Both Unique and Raq are brought to Stefano, and he tells her that he's got a job for her, with Raq's response being she's done shooting her way out of problems, she's out. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite work like that, especially when it comes to the Mafia. They roll deep, and they normally get what they want. So what is Stefano asking Raq to do? Who is he asking her to hit? Now the only logical person it could be is Sal Boselli. The botched hit from Boselli at the end of season 2 has caused a ripple effect in New York. The FBI are now involved. Stefano's paranoid that his businesses are bugged with listening devices, and that's all thanks to Boselli creating mayhem in Queens. So it only makes sense that he's talking about Boselli, and I do think it is time for him to go, because of the direction they're taking season 3 in. Having another war with Sal Boselli would feel like another repeat of season 2, and you do have to progress the storyline. You have to progress with the Thomas family, Kanan's development in the streets, and so on. So Sal Boselli for me is next on the chopping block. Now I think we all know Stefano isn't going to give Raq a say in the matter with whatever he's asking her to do, and it's also a reminder, she can say she's out the game, however, there will always be something that always pulls her back in, and I think Unique says it best.
Raq's done.
You believe her?
I think the question is whether she believes herself.
So does Raq believe that she's done? At this moment in time, she probably thinks she does. And I think she'll try and move on to other business ventures, maybe taking over this rundown shopping mall and going into legit business. But how long before we see her back in the thick of the action? That's the question. For someone like Raq, who's a queen pin, who thrives on power and control in the streets, I think she needs the game. Now on a quick side note, we've got Unique sitting in front of Stefano, which seems to be after the kidnapping, and we all know Unique will want to get back up and running. He's not made to be anybody's employee, so I can see him approaching Stefano to possibly try and get on board with his organization. But whether Stefano will dabble into business with Unique after what happened with Boselli, that's a different question entirely. But Unique will need a connect. Dean ain't fucking with him. There's also Joaquin, who's Raq's connect in season 2. So let's see which direction they take Unique's hustle in. Now speaking of hustles, Kanan seems like he's come across someone who has his own business, and he says everybody has their own hustle, they just need to find theirs.
They come off the Van Wick to get their gas. We serve them while they're there, they gone. And it's far enough away from the block, we not stepping on nobody's territory.
Kanan is definitely Raq's son, that's for sure. He's got this entrepreneurial mindset, and he's always thinking outside the box. After speaking to Symphony, he approached Marvin and came up with a Van Wick idea, which is a very good little moneymaker, and had it not been for his stupid blue caps, Van Wick would have been a very profitable side hustle. There were also other moments with him and Fame hustling in the streets, but you get the gist. He's a very quick learner from those around him, and I expect no different in episode 2 as he begins the foundation of his very own organization. He was rejected by Simrad in episode 1, but that won't deter him. He'll be back, and he'll definitely find a way, that's for sure. Now elsewhere, it does seem like they may be having a memorial or a funeral of some sort for Detective Beck, and how will this death actually impact Duke? She's already been through a lot at such a young age. She lost Nicole in season 1, had a big fight with her father and moved back in with Aunt Raq. She wrote an amazing song, and with singing being a happy place, that also took a turn when Lou gave a song to Ziza. In season 2 she reconnected with Kenya due to a lack of connection between her and Marvin, and we all know the trauma that she went through in season 2. But she's also now lost Kenya, and now there's Detective Beck, who, let's not forget, also had an impact on Duke. She was also there when Nicole died. She helped her out when she was in a couple of sticky situations, and she's not stupid. She is very well aware that Beck was beginning to meddle in things she shouldn't be, because Beck also asked Duke towards the end of season 2 whether Howard was Kanan's father. But this is yet another loss of someone that had an impact on Duke, and we're all asking the same question in regards to why did she become a cop? Well, this could be one of a long list of reasons, but that's a breakdown of what we can expect in season 2 episode 2, and it is going to be a wild ride. They've got off to a great start. They're not rushing any storylines or the development of these characters, so it is going to be a great season ahead, watching Kanan building his own organization, the relationships between the Thomas family, and seeing whether Raq can stay true to her word about being out the game, which I think we all know, and Unique does too, as well as Kanan.
She needs the game. She is the fucking game.